was something that I always grew up with in Australia. Understanding was always to be proud of. It was always a label which I wore very close to my heart, both when I was growing up as a teenager, in the youth movement, also my student days. And then something happened in the last 10, 15 years where the Z word sort of lost something. And I wasn't quite sure what had happened. I knew something really permanent had happened when I was addressing a congregation when I was living in St. Louis, and I used the Zionism word, and that was like I had spoken something really controversial. For the first time in my life, I realized that this word had really been taken from us, lost from us, disappeared from us, was no longer a mainstream lexicon in many of the communities which I was working and moving in. And something that I think we really want to talk about today. What's happened to this word? What's happened to the concept of Zionism? And is it something that's happening for historical or sociological reasons? Or is it happening for broader issues that are taking place in the world today? And I think one of the big issues to consider is that there are a couple of things happening in the world today, separate to the whole Zionism issue, which are really reflecting some of these changes. Number one, anybody can have an opinion. And not just can anybody have an opinion, no disrespect, but anybody can have an opinion that can be heard by a lot of people. And I think this is something which is really becoming a powerful force in today's society, and we all recognise it here, but I think that's also contributed to the changing nature of the lexicon, the discussion around the Zionist word, the Zionist enterprise. In general, I don't think the Jewish community is adapting that well to those changes. In general, we're struggling with this notion the world is becoming flatter, that there's no real hierarchy and control over much of the language and discourse. Leadership, clergy, executive directors of many institutions are uncomfortable that people like you're about to meet are able to garner so much influence. That makes institutional life in North America slightly uneasy. And I think that's one of the issues that we want to really talk about today as well. But I don't really want to go much further. I really want us to talk and get really stuck into some of the issues of the night, which all of you have come for. What we're going to do, we've got 3 expert panellists, one of whom is, well, no, you'll see. I've never seen a celebrity in this building treated with so much reverence. People trying to... Anyway, but you'll get to know all 3 panellists really well tonight. And then we're going to allow you as much time to interact and have some questions as possible, because we realised when we were looking at who's attending this event, there are some really, really invested people in all the discussions taking place, and you have a lot to contribute as well. So without further ado, let's introduce in order of the panelists who will be speaking today. Barry Weiss is the news and political editor of Tablet Magazine, the daily online magazine of Jewish news, ideas and culture. Before working there, Barry was an opinion editor at the Wall Street Journal. In addition to her editing work there, she wrote op-eds and editorials about human rights and foreign policies, and she's also written for such esteemed publications as Haaretz, the New York Sun, and The Board, and she sits on the board of the Civic Education Initiative. To her right is Noah Pollack, who graduated from Yale University and was previously an assistant editor of Azur magazine at the Shalem Center in Jerusalem, Israel. You might be more familiar with his work with such publications as Commentary Magazine, as well as other publications including the Jerusalem Post, Haaretz, National Review, and also the Wall Street Journal, possibly emerging. The third panelist on the left did not... hang on a second. He did not write for the Wall Street Journal, but Elder Zion has been blogging about Israel and the Arab world since 2004. His blog is now one of the most popular Zionist blogs around, with nearly 2 million page hits in the past year, and it has been consistently rated as one of the top 10 world politic blogs by Technorati. Elder has had hundreds of scoops, which I'm sure he will allude to in his presentation, including stories at major news media outlets, and has been quoted by several of these media outlets as well. In addition to his original analysis and reporting, Elder has created popular videos, comics, posters, song parodies, and more for his blog, some of which have gone viral, which I know he will also be talking about tonight. So the format is going to be Barry, Noah, and then the Elder. Elder. Either way.
I also wrote the Talmud.
that'll be the order, and then we'll have, if you don't get into the questions first, then I'll ask a few leading questions, and really we'll go straight to you with some questions to help us get through the evening. So without further ado, over to Carrie Weiss.
Thank you.